Hey guys, Ryan Barker here with the Home Run Team. Houstonians know that our power grid is notoriously unreliable. So, in the middle of hurricane season, when the wind blows the wrong way and we lose power, here's how you can keep your house and your generator up and running.
Hey there, Kevin Minor with the Home Run Team. And as you can see so far, this week's video is on hurricane preparedness and generators and things. What I want to talk to you about is something we realized after the first couple of storms that passed through after we had a generator. And that is that you can run an awful lot of your house with a 4-plug generator that you buy at Home Depot or Generac. So what we finally figured out is we can run our Wi-Fi. Now, pro tip on that. You not only need to plug in your Wi-Fi that's in your house, but a lot of Wi-Fi things have a box outside where the cord comes into your property. You got to have that plugged in as well as the Wi-Fi in the house. But if you do that, your Wi-Fi is going to work. We had our direct TV plugged in. That was working. Obviously, things like refrigerators and freezers work. Another pro tip on the freezer, it does not have to run constantly. If you run it for a while and get it nice and cold, you can unplug it, use the cord for something else for a while. And at that point, after 3 or 4 or 5 hours, plug it back in, it'll cool back down. And as long as you don't open it, it'll stay frozen for a while. We got lamps and cords. And so by the time we figured all this out, with 4 plugs, we had the air conditioner running. It was a single room air conditioner, it can cool one room. We had lamps on everywhere. We had the TV on. We had Wi-Fi. We were cooking with an electric griddle that we had. Once we figured it out, our life was pretty close to normal except for the central air on a 4-plug gas generator. So just be aware, you get creative and realize that all these things that once you can plug them in, they work. And you can use a lot more than just the basic things. You can be relatively comfortable with just that generator. A whole house obviously runs the AC. That'd be great. But if you don't have that and have one you plug in, you can run almost everything else other than central air on that. Now, once you run the generator, you're going to have to make sure you maintain it. Let's kick it to Ryan to talk about maintenance.
All right, here are 3 maintenance tips to keep your generator up and running. Number 1, read your owner's manual. It's got a lot of recommendations and follow them as it's stated. Number 2, change your oil every 40 or 100 hours, whatever is recommended by your manual. It's not super difficult to change your oil. Here's how you do it. Find your oil drain. Open this up, drain it into a pan. Don't let it just spill out everywhere. So open up the oil drain. Once everything is out, cap that back, open up your oil supply line, use a funnel, and then dump in the correct amount of oil into your oil bay there in the generator. Most generators are going to be 4-cycle, and so a 10W30 is what's going to be recommended. But once again, follow your owner's manual, do what it says. Tip number 3, once you're done using your generator, make sure you drain out the fuel if you are using an ethanol fuel. I like to use True Fuel. It is considerably more expensive, but it is ethanol free. If you are just using regular unleaded gasoline, make sure that you add a fuel stabilizer so that way it doesn't mess up your carburetor by staying in your generator. What type of generator is best for you? Well, let's find out.
Hey folks, Mark Haley here with the Home Run Team. And today I just briefly want to talk to you about generators. Now, they've been a huge topic of conversation in and around the greater Houston area for longer than we'd like to admit. So our weather systems, our climate, our power grid, they're just incongruent. They just are. I've come to accept it. It's time you do the same. So many of us have gotten generators, and there's so many options that can very easily get confusing very quickly. So briefly, I'm going to go over permanent or portable generators. There's also solar. And each one of those options breaks into a myriad of other options. But I'm just basically briefly going over the first 2, portable and permanent. Permanent. Those are the Kohler and Generac systems. There are other brands that make them, but those are the 2 big ones that we mostly see. And those are fantastic options if you can afford them. And that's a big caveat because most of these systems are going to cost you between $10,000 and $20,000 depending on the size of your home, the brand of generator that you go with, which, how many bells and whistles you get. Now, again, they're fantastic. Somebody else comes out and installs it and hooks it into your home and has a maintenance plan that you don't have to do anything with. They just come out and check it out annually for you. They have great warranties. But if you're not prepared to make that kind of $10,000, $20,000 investment, I suggest you do what I'm doing and going the portable route. So for a portable generator that's going to cover your whole home, I want one that is tri-fuel, right? So I want it to be able to accept propane and natural gas and gasoline. So no matter what I'm doing with it, I've got options for fueling it. I want it to have a push button start because I'm not always going to be around. I'm not going to be home sometimes when a storm hits or for whatever reason our electricity goes out. And I want people in my family to be able to go out there to that thing, push a button, and our house light back up. I want it to have an automatic CO2 shutoff. Just in case, obviously you're not running these things indoors. Please don't try to run it indoors. But even still, outside, if you have it in too contained of an area, you can have too much CO2 and it be unsafe for you and your family. These things with an automatic CO2 shutoff will keep your family much safer. I want it to have a low oil shutoff because sometimes we need idiot-proof things because we'd like to all think that we do a great job of maintaining everything in our home, but some things sometimes fall through the cracks. They just do. So in the instance that you haven't been keeping an eye on how full the oil is, if it gets too low, it'll shut itself off before it burns it up. Definitely make sure it has that option. I want it to have multiple kinds of outlets on it. So if I'm taking it out on an RV or if I'm taking it to a friend, if I'm traveling with that and helping someone else out, I want to know that whatever they have is going to be able to plug into this thing and it's going to work, right? So those are the main things that I want. And there are a few generators that will do all of that and be big enough to power a 3,000 square foot home and 2 HVAC units, okay? The one I'm recommending today is the Duramax 13,000 HTX. This thing is great. Westinghouse makes one very similar that does a fantastic job as well. But this is one that I'm familiar with. And so that's what I'm going to tell you about today. You buy the unit for about $2,000 and you pay someone to come out and install it on your back porch to that gas line or have a plumber hook up a gas line elsewhere. You get a soft start for your AC units and you get a generator outlet. You can usually get all of that done for about $3,000. And to me, that sounds a lot better than $10,000 to $20,000. If you want to know more about that, reach out, talk to us. Any of us here at the Home Run team would love to help you. By no means do I consider myself an expert, but I guarantee you each and every one of us on the team knows one. If you have any questions about generators, hurricane preparedness, or just real estate in general, reach out to any of us here at the Home Run team. We'd love to hear from you. Take care, y'all.